Hi, it's Thad with Willoway. I'm here today down at our greenhouse to introduce a new machine we got over the winter. It's a seeder, automatic seeder. Before this, we've previously done everything by hand, which was very time consuming. So we did some analysis on pricing and we found this was the best unit for us. It's the auto seeder from Kelco. We can set this up. It's got easy programming. We have it preset for either one seed or three seed to go down, and we have a standardized pot or LE tray that we use. I'm going to have Chris demonstrate. He's been running a lot of it, kind of show you and walk you through the process of the steps as we go.
So I'm going to put the machine in auto, so it'll automatically sense when the tray comes up. There's this little holder that holds it. A little sensor right over here that senses that where the tray is, that it's there. And then the dibblers come down, punch a little hole for where the seed to fall into. And then as it comes up to the seed tray, it vacuums up each individual seed and then drops them into a little funnel into the tray below. You can program it to do one seed per cell, which is how I have it now, or it can stop and it'll drop 2 or 3, however you want to program it.
Hi, it's Thad with Willoway. We're in one of our perennial houses. This is the time of year we've been working on since January. We've really been working on perennial trims and cutback. We've kind of staged, but plants are starting to wake up. In this house, you can see it's clear poly, so it runs actually quite a bit warmer. We have the sides rolled up here. We want to try to hold some of this back a little bit, but they want to go, so they're starting to wake up here. This is allium. It's going to be an early season. We have some other stuff, but we wait a little bit longer into mid-February to start. Some of our grasses, the coneflower, Rebecca, all those things we hold off on doing until we get farther into the winter or closer to spring. While we're here as well, I want to show we use a hobo moisture sensor we have deployed into the pot, so we can look at this online in real time, or it updates every 15 minutes, but we can tell the moisture in the pot. We're using that to help make good decisions on our watering. We haven't brought our system back up. We're probably this week, we're working on bringing our water back up in the nursery. It's getting warm enough, and plants are wanting to go, so the water demands are increasing. So that's another piece to be looking for early season, is to check how dry a plant is or how wet a plant is. But more often than not, you're going to find that they're really starting to dry down a little bit. You can see this one's got some moisture there. It's a little bit top dry. You can see a little bit on the edge there where it's a little lighter color, but it's dark. But this is really, when they start going, you're going to have to keep your water up. So we've been doing some hand watering in these. Some other areas we use a water wagon. And then, like I said, we'll bring the system up and then we'll be able to water the whole house. And then these sensors will help us be deployed around to know kind of where we sit on things. Hi, it's Thad with Willoway. We're in one of our hydrangea overwintering houses. We do keep these at minimum heat. They're like 30, 32 degrees. This house is full of popstar. We're in the point of the season where we start, as we're looking at cutting back perennials, we trim back some of the all of our hydrangea. So we want to just basically kind of cut these dead flowers off and kind of even the whole plant out. We're not cutting it hard down, just back about into this kind of range. And really what we're trying to do there is just get a nice even, lot more breaks low, so you get a fuller plant. Take off the dead flowers. Really, we'll at that time, after we cut them back and clean them up, we go back and we put fertilizer, top dress on them, and aluminum sulfate if it's a variety that's pH sensitive. So obviously, like Summer Crush or some of the pinks, we don't do the aluminum sulfate on. But we've been on a program of doing a fall and a spring application of aluminum sulfate to try to get the best color blue for everybody that we can. As most people know, the pH adjusts that color in the flower. So, and aluminum in the buds is what does it. The other thing I wanted to show while we're here, we've been talking a little bit about technology with the moisture sensor. We're also deploying out hobo sensors. These hobo sensors are Bluetooth, so we can check to make sure monitor temperature within the house, and it actually data logs all the temperature every 15 minutes. So we actually have a graph, we can see what the house highs and lows come to. It's helped us out a lot on labor and saving time in coming in to actually test fire the heaters. This way we know it's working and how it went up cycles and how the highs and lows. Right now we're trying to hold things back a little bit. It's February 21st and we're looking at a lot of warm weather here this week. Today we potentially could get up in the upper 50s. So we've got vents that we've dropped down when the doors are off, trying to make sure we keep this at more of a moderated temperature. We do not want these to get too far ahead. Obviously we're in the north in Ohio here. Not a lot of our customers want plants that are fully forced out or leafed too far. So kind of the stage we're trying to keep them at. The buds are swelling, you can see them. So we do have a lot of, makes us a little nervous this time of year to get too much warm weather. March is okay, February, a little bit iffy, so. All right, so looking at the hydrangea, one of the things is we want to make sure they're moist. We put these to bed really wet in the fall, really soak them down well. We haven't turned the system back on yet. We still get good moisture color all the way through. We've got good rooting. You can see all the roots on this. So we'll freshen it up a little bit more with new fertilizer, like I said. The other thing is if you do get these early, you're going to want to watch where they're at. Right now, they can take the weather, but if you go and they get too far out where the leaves start to emerge, you may have to do some winter protection with them. And that might mean bringing them inside, putting them someplace where frost can't get them, putting like a frost blanket over the top of them. It really depends on your temperature, but if you're getting below 27, 25, right in there, that's kind of a point where they're hardy enough for it, but as they're coming out of spring in a hoop house where they're a little ahead of the natural outdoor, you're going to want to do a little protection with them. So it may be keeping them on pallets for a little bit so you can move them around easily. Putting them in a place if you have like an unheated indoor space temporarily in those cold conditions. Those are all things you got to kind of watch for. At this stage, they're probably okay with the buds. You really shouldn't see a lot of damage, but like a couple more weeks as the leaves start to unfurl and kind of expand, that's when I would be concerned about getting some frost damage on them.